Second one would be Andre the Giant. Um, I mean, what can you not say about Andre the Giant? He is the 7 foot ninth wonder of the world. Uh, Same thing. If he was alive today, he might not be wrestling, but he'd still be making money. And is this all three dead guys, or is this anybody?
Anybody.
Ric Flair. Uh, I will tell you this: I hate chops. I cannot stand chops. But if I was wrestling Ric Flair, I would take as many chops as he wanted to give out. And people all over everywhere say, you shouldn't steal moves and all this. Well, the chop was Ric Flair. Do you remember anybody before Ric Flair having the chop? No. So yeah, I'd say Bruiser Brody, Andre the Giant, and Ric Flair.
Very nice answers. Okay, question 4. Who was the most dangerous person for you to be in the ring with?
Whew, dangerous, huh? I wouldn't say dangerous because we beat the living shit out of each other on a normal basis, but me and the Necro Butcher used to have some knockdown dragouts. Not that we hated each other, we just wanted it to make it look as real as what we could. So, it was just a rule of thumb that when we punched each other, we punched each other. If we hit each other with something, we hit each other with something. So I would say that had to be the Necro Butcher.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of Necro Butcher stuff, and he will do some insane things to please the crowd because he's that much in love with what he does.
Thank God he's my tag partner.
Yeah. Question number 5 from Scott. You worked with a lot of legends in JCW, like Terry Funk, Dusty Rhodes, and many others come to mind. How did you like working in JCW? Also, thoughts on Ambrose, a former hardcore guy, making it big.
I'm proud of them guys, man. Like I said, I've been sitting in the crowd watching WWE, and the guys that I was around are now. I went to an NXT show so I could see Sammy Callahan, Seth Rollins. Me and him never really. I mean, we talked, but not that much. But I mean, I'm impressed that he's in there. CM Punk. Me and him, we was real close. I was glad he was in there. And a funny story about Dean Ambrose, I got to be an extra. They needed some extras in Memphis, and I was at the hotel waiting on Crazy Mary to get out, and I get the phone call from John Cone, the referee there, and he asked me, "Hey, if you're still in town, can you come down?" They needed some. They took a whole bunch of the extras to do this security spot, and they needed more extras. So I came down there. I caught Adam Rose as the Rosebud, but it's kind of an unspoken rule that the extras aren't supposed to talk or hound the major talent. So I kept my mouth shut, didn't really talk to nobody. Lance Russell was there. I so wanted to go over and talk to Lance Russell, but we're sitting there and we're waiting on Adam and Rose and the Bunny to get their shit together to do this promo, and all the extras are there. And next thing I know, somebody puts me in a headlock and starts giving me work punches to the head, and then he lets me up, and all the extras are just looking in awe. And I turn around, it's Dean Ambrose, because me and him, we were pretty close before he went to WWE, and we had like a 10-15 minute conversation. He went on, and then next thing I know, all the extras are treating me with a lot more respect than they did before. I'm sure they was looking at me like, "Who's this old scarred up dude?" But after Dean Ambrose did that, all the extras, they wanted to talk to me after that. It was pretty impressive to me. And Cicero, um, you know, I did a bunch of shows with him. I even brought him into IWA East Coast. Dean Ambrose, John Moxley, I brought him into IWA East Coast. Sammy Callahan, a bunch of those guys, they remember, and Drake Younger, who was one of the referees for NXT, even told me not too long ago. He thanked me, and I said, "What are you thanking me for?" He's like, "You're one of the guys who kept me alive in the business," and really, I can't take no credit for that. Drake Younger kept himself alive in the business, and I couldn't I couldn't teach those guys to do what they're doing today, but it's still impressive to me. Chris Hero uh, wrote me not too long ago thanking me for getting him places and helping him out, which I was really impressed with. But yeah, I mean, I'm proud of all them guys. I hope they all go and have long careers wherever they're going.
That's very nice to hear because a lot of people wouldn't exactly say the things you do. So I'm definitely enjoying this interview.
No problem.
The next question is from David Lopez again. If there's anybody he can face in professional wrestling ring, who would it be and why? Pretty much similar to the other question earlier.
Alive or dead?
Pretty sure alive.
Alive. Like I said, number three, Ric Flair. He's still alive, but it was Nikolai Volkov, but I just got to wrestle Nikolai Volkov not too long ago, so I'd say it would be Ric Flair.
Right. Um, how did you come to be in JCW?
I was working. Me and a guy named Ian Rotten was going down for a company. I can't remember what the name of the company was, but the promoter was named Malcolm Monroe. Malcolm Monroe Jr. now has the legacy of his dad running in Detroit, but before Malcolm Monroe Jr., it was Malcolm Monroe. And this has to be in the middle of Riddlebox and Tunnel of Love era. And me and Ian, we was in a thumbtack death match. He stomped my face in the tacks. He power bombed me on the barbed wire baseball bat. Just violent, violent things. And this is before I even saw Stranglemania, and I had no clue who ICP was. And next thing I know, later on in the night, the crowd's going nuts for these two guys, the sewer dweller and Hatchet, Hector Hatchet. And, I don't know who these guys are, but the crowd's just going fucking nuts for these guys. And they're putting each other through tables and they're going crazy. After they got done, they came over to me and Ian and they said, listen, we loved your stuff. One of these days we're going to be big and we want to know when we do, can we get a hold of you? I said, yeah, sure, why not? But you hear that stuff so much in the wrestling business, you really don't even pay much attention to it. And they gave me some T-shirts, and come to find out, it was ICP. They gave me a Super Balls T-shirt, a white one that had like a dick with a Superman outfit on. I don't know if you've ever seen that T-shirt. Anyway, they gave me some T-shirts. They gave me a couple of CDs, and I started listening to their CDs, and I really liked what they were saying. It was Riddlebox and Tunnel of Love, and opening the Tunnel of Love box, there's a male porno star in there with a huge penis that had Shaggy's head on it. I thought that was pretty hilarious. So, you know, these guys told me they was going to get a hold of me if they ever made it big. So I never thought another thing about it. Next thing I know, I'm walking in the mall and I'm seeing kids wear ICP T-shirts, and I'm like, oh my god, how can I get a hold of these guys? There was a concert in St. Louis, an ICP concert, so I drove to St. Louis and just watched the concert. But I didn't really, I didn't know if they remembered me or anything like that, so I didn't even try to get a hold of them. Then they was doing their first live event called Stranglemania, and they called around until they found me. So I went to Stranglemania and I did a thumbtack match with Angel, which was a great match, and then I did a three-way um, death-defying barbed wire boards, glass, all this with Ox Harley, who I can't stand anymore, Ian Rotten, and myself. And after that, uh, they ran another company called Hellfire, which only lasted one show. Stranglemania Live was only one show. Hellfire was only one show. Then they started doing JCW. I've been at JCW since the beginning. I've been to every gathering wrestling for JCW. I went to Japan and missed one JCW tour. but I've been a pretty good member of JCW. So yeah, that's how I got in with JCW.
Awesome. Now, when might I be able to expect to see you come into West Virginia for like whatever show might be here?
March the 7th in Charleston, West Virginia for IWA East Coast. I said Charleston, but it's not. It's Nitro, West Virginia. At the man, this is terrible. Union. It's some religious building now, but used to be the Nitro Center. But if you go to IWA on Facebook, it'll have a flyer for it.
All right, because I would absolutely love to show up, and because I'd like to meet you, because
Yeah.
judging by this interview, I can tell that you are extremely down to earth and cool as hell. So
Have you met Matt Tremont, or do you know who Matt Tremont is?
I can't say I do.
I'm gonna wrestle Matt Tremont. To
Nice.
me, right now, one of the bravest guys in death matches is Matt Tremont. So it's time for me and him to lock up in the ring.
All right. So, what is the craziest death match you have ever had?
Um, how about I just go farther than that and tell you the dumbest bump that I ever took was was from Toby Klein, and it was a Death Valley driver on a bed of pencils.
I knew that was
It was the worst six agonizing days after that bump that I ever took. Um, Actually, missed my asshole this much with a pencil. It was terrible. So I would say that it'd have to be that one bump was the worst one that I ever did.
Were these pencils actually sharpened?
Yeah, pretty much. I still have the pencil marks going all the way from my shoulders down to the middle of my back, and of course, a few on my ass.
Yeah, I can completely understand that. I'm sure that it hurt like hell, but there's a lot of things you guys do that, what I see, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, how did they do that?
I say the same thing to myself. Jesus Christ, how do I do that?
But if you love what you do enough, you will do pretty much anything. So,
Damn right. It's the love of it. It's never the money of it. It's the love of it. It's the roar of the crowd. It's meeting your friends when you get to the shows. It's a group of everything. But trust me, it's not money.
who would you say your favorite person to work with is?
My favorite match or favorite person now to work with.
Your favorite person to work with?
I would say it'd be the Necro Butcher. Me and him, we really have good matches. We really tag together well. People, when they see us together, they know that we're a force to be reckoned with. Uh, yeah, I would say it'd have to be the Necro Butcher.
All right, and now, what would you say your favorite match is?
Terry Funk. Me versus Terry Funk for the JCW title. That's going to be my favorite match until I go to the ground, man. He was such a class act. He took care of me. Um, didn't mind putting me over for the JCW belt. I was a huge fan before I got in the ring with him. I'm an even bigger, huge fan after I had the match with him.
Nice. Now, I'm familiar with ICP, and they've done several goofy movies, which are quite hilarious. Can we expect to see you in any if they plan to make any more?
I wasn't even around for Big Money Hustlers. Big Money Rustlers, something happened where I couldn't go to California. But if they do another movie, yeah, I would say yeah, I would show up for it.
And let me think here. What would be your opinion? Who do you think is the most promising young up and comer in the WWE right now?
In the WWE,
Yes.
I would say Bray Wyatt. I'm not saying that he's a young up and comer, but he was a tough enough guy, and he's a little overweight, but he's still hanging with the muscle bound dudes. Um, his promos are phenomenal. Uh, I would say right now, that whole spider leg walk that he does out of the corner, I would say it'd have to be